Could people hear that? Zuby?
What's that?
Could people hear Brownie whistling?
Possibly, yes.
I would. That wasn't me whistling.
Was that Struds? Whistling like a 95-year-old? What was that?
Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
Preseason, we let the theme music play a little longer. A little loose around here, not gonna lie to you. What's going on, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back. Live stream, preseason edition on this Sunday night. Oilers with a 3-2 overtime win. Everybody loves a preseason game that goes to overtime. Thanks, fellas. Camden with the winner. Jason Strudwick, Rob Brown standing by. We're going to talk about the Bubble Boys. Who stood out? Who's fighting for a spot? Good podcast coming your way. And we're coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio, now with an online store for all your diesel truck part needs. Check them out online. AdrenalineDiesel.ca is the website. And as always, our podcast is brought to you by our title sponsor, Play Alberta, the official gaming partner of all the major Alberta teams, whoever you cheer for. Play Alberta's cheering you on. Bet on your favorites, get in on odds boosts, and make game time more interesting. Deposit today, get a $50 free bet with the code GYB9. GYB9 is the code. Gets you a $50 free bet. Visit playalberta.ca. All right, Rob Brown, fresh from the post-game show on 6:30, Ched, and Jason Strudwick. Brownie, you got a new partner over there at Ched, buddy, Bryn Griffiths.
I did. A wonderful person. It was a lot of fun. First day. I was with Reed for 11 years. So the very first day with a new partner in 11 years, I thought it went smoothly, and he's coming in at the right time. He didn't have to go through the dark years that me and Reed had to go through together. He's coming in with their championship material. So it was a nice first night with Bryn, and hopefully it'll be a lot more nights like this where we're happy at the end of the night.
Struddy, you know Bryn at all?
Yeah, a couple times. I think I did a podcast with he one day, and I've just seen him around. Right? We kind of brush shoulders with each other. So yeah, I love that addition for obviously, Reed was there a long time, and but Bryn is a really nice nice guy to jump in there and take over and try to squeeze the best out of Rob Brown, which we know is not easy.
Yeah. I know. Wow. I mean, normally you're zapped by the time you get to this show. So we're getting like the last third of Brown's brain on this show. But I enjoyed listening. I listened on the way in from the game. I listened on my way in from the game most nights. Guys, Bryn was actually my sports director back at CTV, like in the early 2000s here in Edmonton. And I've known him for years and years. He's a great guy. He actually worked with the team. He was kind of in like public relations, like, media relations, that sort of thing. So he's been on that side of it, but he's also now been a longtime member of the media. So I just wanted to say a big congratulations to Bryn on grabbing that gig, and look forward to listening to him. And pretty cool. But he's also a real inspiration too, guys. He's a cancer survivor, has an incredible story. He's done a ton to help a lot of people. So if you have a chance, definitely tune in. He's a good man, knows the game, and I'm happy he's on the airwaves with you, Brownie.
I am too. No, it's going to be a fun year. So today was day one. Hopefully we have a day 115 this year with the Edmonton Oilers post game, and with a little bit more celebratory final last show.
We've was this our third pod, guys? Third pod, fourth pod? 1, 2, 3.
Third.
This is our fourth pod. Struds.
Fourth.
Wait,
what pod? I mean, this is my third. Was there a pod that you guys have a separate text group that I don't get that one?
Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. That's 4.
Yeah, you've been here for all of them, Brownie. You were still in Cranbrook for the first one, so your head was still in vacation mode, buddy.
We did one on Thursday.
Oh boy,
Sunday. I don't even remember.
Anyway, the point I was gonna make is we haven't commented. You got the new goggles this year, buds. You like
I do.
Very big change on the eyewear, Struds.
Yeah, I like it. I think he looks good. Right, I'm impressed, man. I got a really nice style there.
Well, I got to be honest. My wife and the dude at the store picked them out for me because it's really hard when you're picking out glasses because you can't see. So when I take my glasses off, put them on, I can't see. So I give credit to Dr. Holly Brown for this one.
Yeah.
How much does she take care of in his world, Struddy? I get the sense, I'm getting to know you guys a little better, Brownie, but like Struds, you know them better than I do. I get the sense she runs a tremendous amount of the decision-making and the things in Rob's world. Like he's just sort of led around, but he's so happy to have it that way.
Yeah, I don't think Brownie really cares about a lot of that stuff. Like there's some things I let my wife just completely dominate because it doesn't matter to me. Like what are we having for dinner? Where are we going out to eat? Or doing something with the kids that day? Like there are some things that are really important to me. Some I'm like, yeah, you want me to wear this sweater? I'll wear the sweater. If you think I'm sexy, and I'll put anything on. You know what I mean? Like,
don't blame your style on your wife. Do not blame your style on your wife. Shona is not dressing you day to day. I guarantee that.
Well, she's happy with what she's got there. Let's be honest.
Brownie, any comments? Are you happily just sort of led around and told where to go and what to do and what to put on your face?
I let her make all the decisions, as Strud says, that aren't important. And then when it comes to the big decisions, those are mine. Unless, of course, she's watching this podcast tomorrow, then, honey, I'm lying, and you make all the big decisions too.
Does she watch his show? She doesn't watch his show.
I'm not even sure she watched me play when I played. Like, she's the one that didn't know who Mario was when I went to Pittsburgh. So,
all right.
So she may when we have decisions that are based on education or health care or day-to-day decisions in the house, she makes them. Anything to do with sports, it's my call.
Struddy, you won an Esty? Is this what I heard? Nielsen's award show over there? Did you know you won an Esty? What was the award that you won? I don't know if I was even nominated for anything. I don't think I was, but I was a little bit rattled to hear you won one, and I wasn't even invited.
Well, I mean, greatness finds a way to shine anywhere, And I was on their hangout, and apparently I was, voted the top hangout guest of the year. So, I mean,
wow.
Shocked? No, I wasn't shocked. I'm just shocked I didn't win multiple, would be my only surprise.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
I hadn't heard yet, but congratulations.
We're live tonight on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. We're live all over the stratosphere thanks to the great work from Chris Sabuni. We've got a great live audience. Segment number 1, we're going to talk about the forwards. Segment number 2, we're going to talk about the D. Segment number 3, we're going to have brownie points in Struddy's world and then ask us anything at the end of the show. So nice, tidy little podcast. Gentlemen, let's get to breaking it down. Brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. Their Ram Big Haul event is on now. Get 20% off MSRP on a 2023 Ram 1500 Classic. That's up to $14,000 in total discount. See your Ram dealer for more details. Beautiful trucks. Love the way they look. The interior is top shelf on these puppies. So go see your Alberta Ram dealers for more. Okay, let's start up front, guys. Struddy, I'm going to open it up to you to talk specifically about the forwards. Where would you like to start in that conversation, bud?
Well, I think for those that didn't watch the game, I think we have to kind of outline the lineup they had in there tonight. It featured many players that weren't a part of the team last year, and many who are going to still be looking to improve their game, maybe in the minors or back in junior or wherever they go back to, or in some cases move on. So there was no forwards that I believe. I guess Paul Colton, he was the guy that I think that will be on the team. But other than that, there weren't a lot there. So just so people understand I'm not talking about Connor McDavid or Leon or whoever. So with that preamble, I was really watching Vasily Podkolzin tonight. That was a guy that I was really focused on because I think of all the forwards that were in the lineup, he's the guy most likely soonest to impact the lineup. I wanted to see him. And what I saw some good wheels, but what I liked about him, guys, was his ability to put some guys into the wall, right? He wasn't afraid of hitting. And for him to come into this lineup and join this team, his role isn't going to be one as a feature scorer on a line. Like, that's not his job. He's going to have to skate, hit. And you made the example, I think it was you, Shaugger, talked about him, like Clean Costin. That's kind of what he has to bring. Now I think he can maybe improve and move up, but that's where he start. So I liked what he did today. I thought it was a good place to start, considering it was a pretty scrambly type game with a lot of, youngish, kind of unfinished products, Brownie.
I agree. I think, to me, the two best forwards for the Oilers were Podkolzin, and I thought Drake Caggiula was very good tonight. Very noticeable in this hockey game. A player comes into this training camp and he looks at the Oilers roster. You're not making the top 6. You're probably not making the top 9. If you want to make this team and you're a goal scorer, well, you better learn how to hit. You better learn how to get pucks out on the wall, get pucks in deep, be good defensively. I thought Podkolzin did that. I thought he was noticeable physically. He got pucks in deep. He made some good plays, but and I told this on the 630 Ched one afterwards. I played in Pittsburgh, and we brought a guy named Steve Malte into our training camp. 4 or 5 time 50 goal scorer. In the first 2 periods against Detroit in an exhibition game, he scored 2 power play goals. Was feeling good about himself. Came to the bench, and the coach looked at him and said, "Hey, we got a guy that plays that position on our power play. Where's number 68? You better show me something 5-on-5, or you're not going to be in the National Hockey League." And that's what I was thinking tonight when I was looking at Lavoie. Lavoie, through the first 40 minutes, I thought was quiet. He scored a goal, I think, on the power play. He's never getting on the power play here. Never. But he did get some confidence afterwards. He did throw a big hit. But if you're going to play for the Edmonton Oilers this year, and you're one of the players that was in the lineup tonight or in the next couple, you have to be good physically. You've got to bring energy. You've got to be a buzzsaw in the offensive zone through forechecking, good stick. Scoring a goal isn't going to get you on the Edmonton Oilers. They got guys that do that. I thought Podkolzin was excellent away from the puck, and I think that's why he's going to stay here this year, and with the opportunity at some point to move up in the lineup if there's injuries.
Yeah, I agree with that analysis on Podkolzin. The one thing I'll say, Struds, that you mentioned right away is some good speed. I didn't particularly love the boots on him. I think he gets around okay, and I think that he can get there and he can make things happen when he gets there. But I thought at this level, and remember, this was not NHL caliber, I thought his feet were just okay. But like the work ethic, like the fact that he was grinding, like the fact that he was paying attention to detail in his own end, seemed like he wanted to make something happen every time he was on the ice. And I mean, I know it's preseason, so we're not going to dig too deep into fancy stats or anything like that. But I mean, when the Corsi for and against is 18-3 when your line's on the ice, you've carried play and worked hard, and you've done a good job on that night. So, and they were certainly dominant possession-wise out there. Let's get to the head coach here real quick, guys. We'll get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here. The ones that Chris Knobloch wanted to talk about, he was asked about a few different players. He talked about Savoy, and he talked about O'Reilly. And I want to just set up this clip, though, guys, and then you can tell me what you thought of their game. Knobloch said he went and watched these players play in Penticton, and they were fine. He said they were okay. But he felt they were way better in this game tonight because the competition around them is much better here than it was there, and he really liked what he saw from them. So here's the head coach on those two players in particular after their performance in Penticton, which, he said they were okay.
Much more impressed. Not that I didn't like their games at all, but I really thought they elevated their game and they're much more noticeable. They made more plays in tonight's game than I saw in Penticton. And that's just because of it's at a better game. And you can just tell that they're smart players. They're not shy. The speed of the game isn't threatening to them. It's not intimidating. I thought those two played really well.
So let's dig in on those guys a little bit. Brownie, any thoughts on either one of those guys in particular, and what the coach said?
Well, start with O'Reilly, a young kid. What's he, 18? This year was just drafted. I thought he's got a very good hockey IQ. I thought he was, for a young kid, defensively, he knew where to be, put himself in the proper spot, was good in the battles. He understood the game. And I think he's a guy that I don't see being this great, fantastic offensive threat at the National Hockey League level, but I see as a guy as a good two-way guy at the National Hockey League level. And this is just a very small sample size. He knows how to play the game. He's got good hockey IQ. I've known Matt Savoy since he was in grade 4. He's been from St. Albert, our sports academy. We had him at NEX with Struds. The kid has got fantastic offensive instincts and a work ethic that is second to none. He's in tough in Edmonton right now because there's not a lot of spots for his skill set. But I do believe he is a kid that's smart enough to realize what it takes to play here. Okay, do I got to do this? Okay, I'm going to change the dynamic of my game to fit in. So I didn't notice Savoy as much tonight as Pakolzin or Kajula, but I do know what kind of game Savoy has, and he is good enough to play at this level and will be very soon. It's going to be in a different role than probably he would have been in had he stayed in Buffalo.
It's hard to play in preseason hockey because people are all over the ice, right? The coach is trying to put some structure in. And what I find is, and the younger the player is, the more they're all over the ice, and that's a hard thing to play. So you're playing with two line mates that are all over the place. And yeah, you're trying to do the system, but you're trying to impress, trying to get a leg up. So it can be very chaotic. So I think that's why, and even go a step further now, the rookie tournament, it's even more all over the place. So now you move to this, it's a little bit easier to play. I think that's why for the guys that are smart, and I think that both these players have good hockey IQs, it's easier to play as you take a step up. I'd never seen O'Reilly play, and I liked what I saw from him. There's when they drafted him, like, hey, you traded up to get him. What are we getting here? So I understand what they're getting. I think it makes sense. I really like the goal he scored today, Brownie. I don't know if that is I thought that was a pretty nice play, but even getting in position to get that pass, I like that kind of little sneaky play a little bit behind the D-men. So that shows that he can find holes on the ice. Are those holes there when it's, Dustin Byfuglien and whatever, Jacob Trouba? Probably not, but still, you got to find them against who you're playing against, right? So I thought both were a good start for them. And I don't know how long first rounders usually stay around, but I would like to see them play again tomorrow night because it's a split squad game, right, Shaugger?
Yeah, in Calgary and here, and maybe we'll get to those, what we think will happen in those games a little bit later on. I liked O'Reilly too. I thought he was really good at both ends of the ice. Had a real nice back check and a breakup. I think it was in the third period. Conscientious, right? Like, just paid attention to detail. And that's as advertised. That's his game. Nice overall two-way game. But then to snipe the way he did was good. The other point I'll make on the Lavoie goal, and I agree with you, Brownie. Like, he's not going to be on a power play here anytime soon. But when you're talking about players who are going to fill out your bottom six, and that's the conversation that Lavoie is in as an option for a bottom six, I will say, never mind the fact that it was a power play goal. A guy that can convert a one-timer like that, what you'll say about him is, yes, you want him to make sure he gets it out on the wall. And yes, you want him to make sure he finishes his checks. And yes, you want him to compete, right? Those are sort of the base level requirements for fourth liners. But when he can finish like that, not a lot of guys he's going to be in competition with for that job can do that. So I really do think him burying that, power play or not, is meaningful and relevant to the conversation of his value and his chances to be here or one of the first call-ups. Because when you can do that, not many other guys you're competing with can for those spots.
No, but you're gonna be playing with guys that aren't going to give you that shot. I mean, he's going to be on the fourth line. He's not going to have that wide open shot on the fourth line. If you're on the fourth line,
one-timer's a one-timer. It's not like a guy never gets a chance to one-tee a puck.
How many fourth liners get a one-timer goal like that in a game?
That's my point.
But that's because they don't get them.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So
they're not going to get one-timers. Does that separate? To me, they don't. I mean, great that you can one-time it, but you've got to do all the other things first. And if you're not doing any, people are going to pass you. So, I mean, you know what he could do last year? He could one-time the puck like that. Know what he could do the year before that? He could one-time the puck like that. And he has not got a sniff with this team yet. So this year the team is a bit better and deeper. So I think he's in tough. I thought tonight, Pokolzin, it wasn't even close between the two players.
Yeah, the point that I think Brownie's trying to make is that those opportunities on the fourth line do not happen. They just don't. They don't happen. They was wide open for a shot in preseason, and it's fourth liners just don't score goals like that because they're not put in those situations, right? You're not getting 8 minutes a night. You're grinding against the other team's line. You don't want to get scored on. People aren't passing the puck like that. You're not getting that open. So I agree with Brownie. Like he should come out.
You're missing my point, though.
I hear your point, but no one's going to get that. He's never going to get that chance. You know.
But my point is, Struds, is if you take care of the defensive details, and if you finish checks and you fill out all those other boxes, which his competition is likely going to do for those jobs, but then you also come with the ability to finish plays like that, you've got a leg up on other guys that would traditionally be fourth line players.
But he's not. But you're comparing. He's not going to be ahead of Derek Ryan. He's not going to be ahead of Corey Perry. He's not going to be ahead of Pokolzin. So he's right now competing with a Savoy. He's competing with a Hamblin. He's competing with a Lane Peterson. And those guys have always done those things. Like, that's why they're still playing pro hockey, because they're doing it without the big shot. So he's got to be as good as those guys as a defensive player. I don't know if he's there.
Yeah. What'd you think of his overall game tonight?
Who?
He was trying to finish some checks.
Lavoie. I thought Lavoie was better after he scored the goal. And then I thought you noticed him more. And he got some confidence.
So I'll say this about him. And I think we've seen that, when he's got to come out of the gates just flying and hitting and getting hits and finishing right out of the gates. His offense can't be the thing that drives his motor. It's got to be the motor's got to come and then you score. Like that's so let's just use Janmark. Pretty high motor on that guy. He's getting in there. What we saw from Paul Colson tonight. And I don't want to anoint this guy like the leader of all bottom six forwards for Oilers, but he had a higher motor today, and that's an important thing. As a coach, I'm watching. What is his role? What is he going to do? How does he fit in?
Well, but the biggest thing too, Struds, with that, a fourth liner doesn't get to wade himself into a hockey game.
No, you have to have the best warm up.
Yeah,
yes, 100%. Mike Keenan actually picked his fourth line based on how they were in warm-up. He'd sit up in the Oregon loft, and guys would get pulled out of the lineup because they had a bad warm-up. You might only get 3 shifts in the first period. You've got to be good in all 3. So you can't wait till later in the game to find your legs, find confidence. I think Janmark's a great example. Oh, it's really tough.
It's really tough to do that job.
Yeah.
But you have if your first shift is good, you'll get more. If it's not, you might not see it again. Especially is Lavoie anywhere close to any of the specialty teams?
No, that's one of the things that really against him.
No, he's not. He's not in a line. He's not even.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they try and use him to kill some penalties here in preseason. I'm interested to see if they try and use him to kill penalties because, really good point here by Penner's Pancakes, guys. As this will just sort of set up, who realistically is competing for minutes at the NHL level. I like the comment here. Realistically, Podkolzin is probably penned in on the fourth line. Yep. Fourth center and 4 right wing will be more open, as 10, Derek Ryan, and 90, Corey Perry, can't go a full 82 games and be effective. So if you think that Derek Ryan maybe will be in and out a little bit this year, that 13th forward gets a look, maybe Corey Perry comes in and out a little bit this year, and that extra gets a little bit of a look. So Lavoie would be in that conversation, in that competition, for if Corey Perry comes out of the lineup, say, or if Derek Ryan comes out, then
he won't. Not if Derek Ryan comes out. He wouldn't be in if Derek Ryan comes out because you need a center.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you've got Philp, or you've got some other guys that could be in
Lane
there.
Peterson, Hamblin. But the problem though too, Shaugger, is contracts, is salary cap. So you can't if you've got both Ryan and Perry up here, you can't be pulling them out, giving them nights off because they're tired, because the Oilers are going to be up against the cap, and they're going to want to accrue as much space as they can because they need a number 4 defenseman. So you're not going to pull them out for, okay, we're going to give this guy a break tonight and you put someone else in. Now that salary is added to your salary cap. So I understand what he's saying there. I just think that Perry and with his 1.4 million and Ryan are both locks, and I believe Pakolzin is a lock, and you've liked him for quite a while now. That's your 4th line. To me, what do you want as your 13th? And I don't even know if they'll be able to carry 14 forwards. But to me, it's a Peterson or a Hamlin or a Savoy that are fighting. It's got to be somebody that can play multiple positions if you've got a 13th forward. Somebody that can play center if you want, or can play wing.
They'll be in a better cap spot than they were last time around. They're not, that trade of Cody Ceci definitely helped ease things up. But, yeah, fair enough. And will they go short on their roster again? We'll wait and see as things draw a little bit closer. Philp, Struds, what did you think? Well, what did both of you guys think of Philp? He's a real interesting story here. A guy that took all of last season off, dealt with some real tough stuff personally, and he's back at it after a really strong finish to his season 2 years ago. The season before last in the American Hockey League. Goes out there tonight. Big, skates pretty well. Struds, what did you think?
Well, first off, for him, I'm happy he's back. And he seemed to have, I wasn't in the building, but he seemed to be enjoying it, which, that is a huge step for me if I'm that group. As I remembered, he had a great day I don't know what his final tally was in the face-off dots, but I think he had a pretty good day in the dots, didn't he? Yep. I want to say he was like
9 and 3, I thought.
Yeah, 9 and 3.
So there he goes. Yeah.
So just to compare it to others he's competing with, he did what they're looking for him to do, which is win faceoffs. He went out there, and when I at the end of the night look at the sheet as a coach and say, "Oh, geez, he was, what'd you say, Brownie, 9 and 3?" He's checking a box for me. He didn't wait. He didn't wait in. He came in and he got it done. So, I would like to see him try to get up against NHL players, and again, no disrespect. If you didn't watch the game, Winnipeg had a similar style lineup as Oilers did. So I want to see that. I want to see him go against NHL players, both on the faceoffs, but then more importantly, guys, the penalty kill.
Yeah, I agree with you, Struds. I thought he was good. And I do believe, having been off for a year, he'll be in the minors to start with and work his way back in. But he's got size, skates well, right-handed centerman. I mean, that's something that the Oilers were dying for about 3-4 years. So I believe he will be in the mix as the season moves on. But I thought he was good today.
Get to the Weiss Johnson Sound Box, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. The cold is coming, so time to get that garage heated up. Enjoy the luxury of a warm vehicle or heated man cave this winter. Installing a garage heater will also help if you have rooms over the garage that are always a little cool too. And they do a great job heating up your golf simulator if that's what you've chosen to do with your garage. Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
All right, I believe I forgot to label my stuff. I believe I have Noah Philp here post-game. It's either him or Lavoie. Let me check.
Just getting some touch.
Yeah, that's Philp. Here he is talking about what you need to work on after being off that long.
Just getting some touches in, and sometimes you almost need to slow your game down a little bit, and you don't need to hurry to make a play. You need to take the time and make the right play. And I thought that was a big learning curve for me in Bakersfield, and I thought tonight that was the same sort of pattern.
Anybody else you guys want to mention up front, or have we kind of run the gamut, Struds? Anybody else stand out for you up front?
I think most of the other players we didn't talk about will most likely be moving on. And again, not in a to be mean, but by Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm guessing. So I think we'd maybe look for them in the future, or some of them perhaps that had their career already, and will probably be somewhere else at some point soon.
Brownie?
Yeah, you talked about Hoffman. I didn't notice Hoffman very much tonight.
Yeah. It feels like a long shot here for the Oilers with him.
Agree.
I don't know. You might have more intel than I do, Shaugger, or we do, but no. I think that's a long shot for him.
The thing to keep in mind, guys, is that the Oilers, they played so late that I would not expect a lot of their guys to play a pile of exhibition games. They're mid guys. So you need to have veterans around to fill out, make sure you get 8 veterans in. And that's not being, I mean, it gives him an opportunity to play some games, right?
Sure.
There's other scouts around that are watching. You know, you're doing players a real solid when this happens, when you do this for them. So it's not a disrespectful thing, but Hoffman, you know, a bit of ice time to try and show something and see if he can catch on somewhere. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Zuby, you got a banger of a poll tonight. The people are loving it on the YouTube stream. So let's get to our DeBoers YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoers Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after sales support, merchandise, and clothing as well. Check them out, 5311 99th Street, the friendliest store you will ever walk into. Scotty and Al and TJ and the crew are just feel like you're walking into home. Love it over there at DeBoers. Zuby, what do you got for us tonight, buddy?
Okay, we got the question is, which bubble player do you think gets the first game with the big club this season? The options we gave were Lavoie, Philp, Savoie, guys you have all talked about, and then we left an option open for other. We can get to some write-in votes now, or we can talk about that when we remember to wrap the poll towards the end of the show.
We will remember to wrap the poll at the end of the show. You won't be here for then, Brownie. You got to vote? Did you pay attention?
I'll do other. I'll go James Hamblin.
Nice. Yep.
Lavoie, the early leader there. So people who think otherwise and want to have their voice heard, get on the YouTube stream and vote.
All right, good stuff. Brought to you by DeBoers Golf Shop and Fitting Center. That was the breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. When we come back, we'll dive into the back end, talk a little bit about what we saw. Oh, a couple of thoughts, too, about the Edmonton Oilers over the next couple of years and what we could see from an analytics standpoint under Stan Bowman. So remind me to bring that up because I might forget next segment. But that, tons more, still ahead on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
All right, welcome back to Got Your Back. Time now for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. If you have not been to Martin Motorsports, well, you just got to go. It's like an adult playground, toys for all your outdoor adventures, from quads and side-by-sides to boats, skidoos, motorcycles, electric bikes, and more. Visit them at their two Edmonton locations on the west and south side. So one day, Brownie, when you were not invited, Struds and I went down to Martin Motorsports. Holy smoke, Struds. That's just a pail of fun inside. That's just a store full of fun.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I've ever been in a store like that before. Right. Like I went in there. It's crazy. There's so much stuff. So cool. So many cool things to have.
I have been in that store many times. I am a boat owner, so I have been in that store many times looking at all the toys.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of toys in there.
It's everything. Like it's, and there's so much of it. Yeah.
Well said.
And it's just, everybody that's in there is just happy because you're only there to buy things to make yourself happy. It's the place where everyone's in a good mood because it's like, you know what? We're all having fun at some point pretty soon.
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree.
Thanks to Chris and the crew for having us out to Martin Motorsports. Okay, let's talk about the blue line. So Cam Denis ends up with an overtime winner. We had Emberson and Dermott on a pairing together, so we can discuss that as well. Got to look at Brown too. Struds, our resident defenseman. Where would you like to start on this one, buddy?
Well, same place I started. Winnipeg didn't have a lot of their normal team in there. So I just want to qualify all
grain
my
of salt night. Grain of salt night.
Yes, there's a massive, it's not a grain. This is like a salt lick that you need to take a look at because so again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I thought they looked pretty good. So let's start with the guy I was really interested in, Ty Emberson. I thought that he looked good on the penalty kill. There wasn't a ton of it, but I thought he looked sharp and he knew where to be. He skates well, moves pretty well. So that was, I want, obviously we're going to see more of him, but I want to see more of him as this progresses against legit NHL competition. In fact, if I was a coaching staff, because usually it's 2 lines that are kind of AHL and 2 lines that are kind of, a different place in their career. I want to see him play only against NHL caliber players in those exhibition
So
games.
probably send him to Calgary tomorrow, I would think then. Hey, like Calgary probably ices the tougher lineup at home.
Yeah, and playing back to back, like get him in there. It doesn't matter. I mean, this wasn't a real. Well, I think after 2 periods, there's 10 hits on both teams
combined. Yeah.
Combined.
I agree too, Struds. I had a hard time evaluating the defensemen because there was nothing coming at them. There was no offensive flair on the Winnipeg Jets. There was no forecheck. It wasn't physical at all. They had all the time in the world to make a play. So it just wasn't, it's unfair to evaluate them because they all looked good tonight because they were playing against a half AHL, half junior college team. So they look good, but they should. But so to me, this was a game you couldn't evaluate. They need to play because you want to evaluate who is 4, 5, 6, 7 on this team, but you can't evaluate after tonight. You have to wait until you play against a good team. And you can, as Struds, I agree with you. Wherever they play him tomorrow night, whether it's here or Calgary, only put him on the ice. All right. Oh, they're sending over these guys. Here comes their top line. I'm going to put them out against their top line. Start controlling the matchups and testing their players that are right now fighting for those 4, 5, 6 spots.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who they pair him with when they play him. Anybody else on the blue line that you want to talk about tonight, guys? I know, like you just made the point, hard to evaluate them. We did see Josh Brown. I actually thought that Brown moved the puck pretty well tonight. I thought he had a few decent handles, and I didn't mind the way he moved around out there. So with a grain of salt, I thought he had a decent night. Any thoughts there on the second coming of Jason Strudwick?
Yeah, I loved the early part of exhibition because I was like, I'm actually pretty good. I think what I did this summer went really well. I really was in the zone. And then all of a sudden you start getting NHL players. Well, that was just an off shift. And then you get to regular season. It's that much faster. So, he's a really good hockey player, right? But as the pace picks up, it gets a little harder because you don't have time to make those plays. One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So I feel very comfortable. I think that Josh, if I looking ahead, I bet he plays 50 games for the next 3 years, each year for the Oilers. Somewhere 40, 50 games, somewhere in there, not total per year, somewhere in there, right? I'm guessing. And he's going to get 12 to 15 minutes, kill some penalties. That's what I think. That's what I think he is, and he's going to do for this team.
Todd Gack says Emberson can buy a timber house. I've seen enough. So Todd Gack wants to build a high quality, unique house, courtesy of our friends at Timber House.
Are you his uncle?
Buy a house, Brownie. You're staying in town. What's that?
That's his uncle. That must be Ty Emberson's uncle who's telling him that.
It's signed a 3-year deal. I mean, chances are he'll probably be around, I would think.
Oh no, he was saying Ty Emberson, not Josh Brown. Yeah.
Oh, Emberson. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry, I got those two confused a little bit who we were talking about. Okay, so enough with evaluations from tonight. Nice for Deneen to get the overtime winner. Always looks good. And yeah, I thought that some guys skated well and moved well out there. Let's see how it looks deeper in exhibition. Quickly, let's talk about tomorrow night and what we think lineups could look like. Here's my hunch. I think that McDavid and Draisaitl will play in 2 exhibition games each. And so I think there's a good chance that you play them together because if you're only playing in a couple of exhibition games, I think you want those power play players to have a chance to get a few power plays in if possible. So we could see the top two lines at home and a couple of lines on the road, lines 3 and 4 on the road. But my gut is it's only going to be a couple of games, Brownie, and you probably want that power play to get a few looks, don't you?
No. I honestly, I thought they would split them up. This is a power play. It's not like they just brought someone new in. It's not like, okay, we got the 4 guys. Here comes our 5th guy coming in. Let's see how he plays with it. These guys have been on the same power play for 7 years. I mean, there's nothing that they need to work on. They will play, to me, the last exhibition game of the whole preseason. They'll play together, and that's when they'll get their power play going together at that point. But I would think that tomorrow, if both of them are playing, they would play in different arenas. You'd send one line to Calgary, keep one line here. I don't think they need reps. This is the best power play in the history of the National Hockey League.
What if they want to squeeze Arvidsson out there for half a shift here or there?
Arvidsson didn't even play in the power play in LA, but all of a sudden you got him Hyman coming off the ice here.
Okay.
Like, no, I see what you're saying. To me, the last game of exhibition, that's when you put your full lineup out there. That's when they play together in the power play. I mean, Bob said it too tonight. You've said it. Maybe you guys know something that's going on tomorrow. But to me, I always would think you send your number 1 line to one game and your number 2 line to the other.
I'm not dressing either. I'm not even trying to be funny. Why do they need to play this early? I wouldn't play either. So I'm looking at the schedule. I don't play either of them. I don't play them Wednesday in Winnipeg. They can either play at home Saturday or Monday. And then I agree that Friday, October 4th, their last game they play in that one. Why? I
agree. That's fine with that too. Yep.
Why putting Connor out there? Hey man, we got to go down. We really got to set the tone. Set the tone. What to set the tone for? I'm sorry. I wouldn't play either one. Throw Nuge at center. Put someone else at center. Yep. And I don't even hesitate.
I agree with that too, Struds. 100%. They don't need to play. They don't.
Yeah. I think they might. I think we'll see him in a couple of games, and I think it could be the last one.
No, a couple games.
That's 2 games. That's I said 2. So that's one next week. So they play at home either Saturday or Monday next weekend.
Because if they play tomorrow, then you're playing them 3 times. Because they're not going to play tomorrow and then don't go all the way for 2 weeks from now to play again. So that's 3 games if they play tomorrow. Because they're playing the last game. I would think, because if they don't play the last game, then they have like a full week between games. So to me, I agree with Struds. Play them 1 game on the weekend, play the last game, and that's all they need to get ready for the season.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Well, I think they're going to play tomorrow, and I think they're going to play the last game. I think.
So we'll see what happens. You think you're going to go 2 weeks between games, or 10 days, or whatever it is?
Why do they have to play tomorrow? Who's coming? Is the queen or the king coming to watch them? Like, I don't get it. I'm sorry. And then to say, hey, Leon, buddy, you're going to fly down to Calgary and play a game down there. Like,
well, have I suggested that, guys, or did I suggest that we could see both guys in the lineup at home? Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We're sitting here arguing about something we'll know by tomorrow. But I wouldn't be surprised if both guys played tomorrow and if they were both in the same place and the power play was all out there together. But I might be wrong, and you guys can bludgeon me tomorrow after the game with my.
Well, I think I'm probably wrong.
Yeah. I think Shaugger knows something that we don't know. So.
I agree. We're gonna eat this later.
Yeah. Let's talk analytics quickly, and then we'll go to break. So the Oilers made some hires this week, guys. And they had a little bit of promotion for Warren Reichel, director of pro scouting. Zach Cassian comes in as a pro scout. Aaron Nagy is an amateur scout. So video and analytics coaching coordinator and Erica Lenz. Dominic Zrim, director of hockey strategy, who was part of the Cap Friendly group a while back and who Bowman actually has a history with in Chicago. And Ivan Ochko is the lead solutions architect. So I think we all know that under Ken Holland, the analytics portion of the Oilers build-out was only going to go so far. They brought in Michael Parkatti last year, and, they've had some people internally working on some things. But did a little digging around tonight, guys. Sorry, I got a cough here. Sorry about that. I've been fighting a cold. And My sense is that Stan Bowman, they're really going to build this part out over the next season and a half or so, guys. I think Stan Bowman is going to put a lot of resources towards this. I think there's going to be some real sort of forward thinking, potentially designing some original I think they're really going to lean into this as an organization from an analytics standpoint. Understand Bowman. I think, they've got some really good people in place that they'll continue to work with, but they're adding, and I think we're going to hear about them adding more.
Brownie?
Anyone?
To me, anything that can help your team. Like I'm not huge into analytics. I understand the importance of it. I think analytics a lot of times for people that are in hockey that are at the top of the food chain, a lot of the time it just confirms what they already know. I got no problem with analytics. I think if you've got deep pockets, add as much as you can to get as much information that you want, then you can make your decisions. So yeah, cool. I think it's neat. And I know that I golf with Stan Bowman at the media golf tournament, and he mentioned analytics that time. So he's into it, and he's had success with it before, and I'm sure that he's going to try to make it bring it here to Edmonton and see if he can help put the Oilers just a little bit better over top of all the other teams they're competing with.
Yeah, I think Oilers fans should be excited, although they're probably not. You look at the additions they made in Europe with those guys, and then adding this group here. And I guys, I've been still very hard on this. I hope that some of this analytics they're going to do, and with additional scouting, they're going to put a lot of energy in towards amateur players and finding diamonds in their rough. They need to find some diamonds in their rough. Like that is, to me, because there's not a lot there. They've shipped out a lot of draft picks. You need to find people that can replace. So I hope that they're putting time and energy into that and studying some kind of analytics through the junior ranks or college or whatever it is to find guys that are diamonds in the rough.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to our Relentless player before the break. Brought to you by UCAN Youth Services and Edmonton charity Relentless, in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and find employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. Struddy, who gets the Relentless player of the night, my friend?
Well, a bit of a tough one tonight to pick, when you're looking at kind of the pace of the game. But I'm going to go with Vasily Polkolzin. I'll go back from our very first statement that I think that he's trying to do what he thinks needs to be done for him to become a part of the team. And I think in training camp and a game like today or tonight, that's what you need to do. And he did it. So that's my submission for today, guys.
All right. Love it. Brownie, you agree?
100% agree. 100%. Mm-hmm.
All right, when we come back here on Got Your Back, Brownie Points, Struddy's World, and Ask Us Anything. Tons of shows still ahead. You're listening to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. Time now for, well, it's everybody's favorite segment here. When you combine Brownie Points and Struddy's World, That's got to win an Esty at some point. Can we win an Esty for content that we do here on this show? Probably not, I'm thinking.
We could start our own award show. Can't we just make up our own awards?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Best
sure.
chirp of the year? Chirp of the year?
Oh, that'd be a good one. Mm-hmm.
We can't get three of us together for a lunch. How are we going to organize a massive
Well, we
award?
actually did get three of us together, but it was only half a lunch because you missed the first half.
Yeah. Show up on time for the award show.
Fair point. Fair point.
Time now for brownie points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you need a unique idea for your team or your school's next fundraiser, Hamel's can help you or help your organization raise money by customizing a variety of options of their world of famous jerky. With over 13 flavors and an all-new jerky and pepperoni bundle, something for everyone. For more details, check them out at albertajerky.com. I killed my mic and snuck in a little cough there. Not sure if you could tell during that ad read, Brownie.
Well, I do know that from radio, being in it for a few years, you're not supposed to tell people those things. You're supposed to actually kill the mic, cough, and come back, and then everything
just
was
keep going.
normal. That's
Get a
okay,
lozenge. Get a lozenge in there.
I know.
I'm surprised he's here. Grab one right now. Usually a cold has him on the IR for 6 to 8 weeks. So
it'll just be you, me, and showed up. You, me, and that's it. Just three of us.
All right, brownie points tonight. We're going to start with 92 brownie points for Vasily Podkolzin, who by far the best Oiler tonight, and for all the reasons that Struds talked about. He understands what his role is if he makes his team, and I thought he did a wonderful job with that tonight. I got 48 brownie points for Noah Philp. It is good for the Oilers organization that he has come back and started playing again. It's even better for Noah Philp. So good on him being out there. I thought he had a really good hockey game. I'm glad he's back here trying to resurrect his career. Hopefully we'll see him at some point again in the exhibition season, but more importantly, at some point during the regular season. I have got one big brownie point for my new partner on 630, soon to be 880, Chad Bryn Griffiths. Wonderful man, great story, and I had a lot of fun with him tonight.
Nice.
I have 100 brownie points. This was added late. I didn't know that we had the Etsy's and that we've got Struds, an award winner, on the show tonight. So 100 brownie points to Struds for winning his Etsy. Yeah. That is fantastic. That's what I said, Etsy. Congratulations, Struds, for winning your Etsy. I said Etsy. So good job, Struds.
Yes,
and my last one. I've got 25 brownie points to our good friend Shaugger, who tonight on national radio was called Eye Candy. Literally.
What?
Was called Eye Candy.
Who called me that?
Bryn Griffiths, before you were on, he talked, or maybe we weren't on air when he said it, but he did say it tonight. He said that he was the sports director and he had you on in a certain time slot because you were eye candy. So, Shaugger, for being a former eye candy guy, you get 25 brownie points.
I'll take it. I'm going to take all the brownie points I can. Struds, you noticing a bit of a trend here, bud? So
no,
I am
not at all.
dominating you for brownie points this year. Dominating you. I'm like plus 75 or 80 this year. And yes, they've sort of been chirps, but he keeps giving me positive brownie points for chirps. And you are in the doghouse. You are way behind. And I think this might be a season-long competition between you and me for brownie points, buddy. You're getting schooled in the early going.
Yeah, it's a long year. It's a long year, and I'm not the one with the lozenge in my throat after the fourth episode.
Are you sure we did 4, though? I only remember 3.
Oh, boy.
Seriously?
That's fine.
This is the 4th one.
Get on.
No, I was including that one. I remember this one.
All right. Brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. And with that, we got to bring it to the people. Roll the intro. Struddy's World.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good. All right, Struddy's World brought to you by the official builder of the Emberson family. I'm kidding. We don't know that. Timber Hoss Developments. When you become part of the Timber Hoss family, you might be surprised just how close you'll get to the people in the process. Most builders try and keep the customer kind of at arm's length, right? Once the build starts. Not at Timber Hoss. Want to check in on things? No problem. Stop by the job site. Want to chat with the crew at head office? No problem. Stop by anytime. They've got fantastic coffee over there. You're the most important person in the home building process, and you will be treated as such. Visit timberhoss.ca. Struddy?
So I work, I help coach my kids' teams, and the other day we were at the end of practice, and you just do a little bit of a conditioning skate, not as a punishment, but just to make sure you can get up and down the ice. So it was 4 minutes long. I timed it. Well, that's all the time we had in that practice. I think I don't know how many they did, but it's 4 minutes. 4 minutes. It's very short. So anyways, the kids are coming off the ice, and I'm skating off with them. They're like, boy, that was hard. I'm so tired. I said, you guys are tired? They're like, yeah, that was hard. That was a hard 4 minutes. I said, guys, I used to do bag skates for 60 minutes and not even flinch. They're like, well, what have you done? What have you have done if you had a 4 minute bag skate, coach? I said, I wouldn't even have taken the dart out of my mouth when I'm skating for 4 minutes. 4 minutes is nothing. Nothing. It doesn't even do a thing. It's like you don't even get warmed up for it. So for all you coaches out there, if you condition skate or bag skate your kids for 4 minutes, it's nothing. It doesn't even count on it. And the kids should not be tired after 4 minutes.
Actually, Struds, I've watched a video of you in the National Hockey League game have a 4 minute shift and you couldn't even move your legs.
I wasn't tired. I was feeling great. And I did I make a couple mistakes? Yes, but my teammates screwed me all over the ice out there for that one. But I came back just so
not everybody has to prepare themselves for being hemmed into their own zone for 7 minutes because they can't make an outlet pass ready.
Only 4 minutes, 10 seconds. And then I missed a shift. I came back in a 2 minute shift, and then they shut us down for the rest of the period. I had 6 minutes of ice time in like 9 minutes. You're done. Yeah, I think so. I think I am done. But I wasn't tired with these kids. 4 minute bag skate. And they were alternating. That's what's crazy.
Listen to Torts here. You guys see Torts? Didn't he have like the ropes out on day one of training camp in Philly or so? You had some crazy stuff going on again there?
I didn't read that. I had a Mike Keenan bag skate. It was an hour and a half, and all we did was one group was on the goal line. The other group was on the boards. Down, back, down, cross, 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 rotate. Down, back, down, cross, cross, cross. 90 minutes straight. That's all we did. And then right afterwards, Brad Lauer, who used to be an Oil King coach here, right afterwards, he had a broken foot, but he practiced. Right after the practice, Keenan sent him to the minors. He just practiced for 90 minutes with a broken foot and sent him to the minors.
Man.
So yeah, 4 minute bag skate. You're right. That's kids nowadays, Struts. Huh.
And they're probably working for 2 minutes of the 4 because they're alternating. I couldn't believe it.
This was Old Man Yells at Cloud, brought to you by Timber Hoss Developments.
Just trying to make them stronger. Right?
Do you have a recommendation for what a conditioning skate should look like then, Coach Struddy? Want to lay it out here real quick for us?
So listen, this isn't punishment. You're trying to get the kids so they can skate back and forth. I think, ideally it's 8 to 10 minutes. So you're working for about 4 minutes of that 8 to 10 minutes, right? You're working like half.
What about just running them through really intense functional drills? Like, isn't that the new age bag skate?
That's an option as well. Yeah, there's lots of options. You didn't ask me about that though, but I think that you can't forecheck if you're tired, right?
Calvin Best says, Struddy, quote, kids, 4 minutes isn't a bag skate, and kids, there are only 2 tournaments that mean anything, the Stanley Cup and the Olympics. So skate harder and your tournaments don't mean anything.
Well, I thought that, but I didn't say that out loud. I just said the part about the dart. I wouldn't take the dart out of my mouth if I was getting bag skate for 4 minutes.
All right, Struddy's World. Brought to you by Timber Hoss Developments. Brownie, you got the giggles. We'll let you go, buddy.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm
going to go run for 4 minutes so I get a good exercise before I go to bed.
It's only 2 minutes.
Pal.
2 minutes of 4.
The great Rob Brown. All right, let's roll right into Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, founded in 1976. BJ Electric Supplies, full-line distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated here in Edmonton. Visit bjelectric.ca. Zuby, hop on in here, my man. And let's do 5 minutes or so of this before we wrap up the show.
Very good. Okay, let's see. Nathan Jameson says, I thought Carrick had a good night. Could tell he's been in that position before, and it showed. I'm not sure his name came up when we were breaking it down, but what did you guys think of his game?
Now, what is this? Is he on a PTO or is he signed?
Put me on the spot. I'll check. You keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, again,
agent.
And this is really unfair, guys. Really unfair. But this quality competition does matter. So, they looked fine against this group that that was not many of, if any, will be on the team this year in Winnipeg. So you have to be really careful. I thought it was no one did anything to harm what they're moving forward with. Let's just say that way.
Yeah. 775, Carrick was signed. So yeah, he was signed.
Connor Carrick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, moves around pretty good. And I'll agree with you, Struds. It's a tough night. Like, I hope some of these guys get a game at least where the competition, where they get to feel the push of some real NHL players leaning on them a little bit, because these guys are guys that are going to play minutes in the American Hockey League.
Okay, Chris R. wants to know, any chance we look to the waiver wire to pick up another D-man? I mean, that's a broad question, not a name, but I mean, it seems like there's people out there, especially right at the start of the season, final cutdowns, that it seems like a tool that doesn't get used very often. What do you guys think the odds they might go that direction, Shaugger?
Yeah, I'll just hop in on that, because Stan Bowman, when I asked him kind of what the plan was on the blue line, Struds, during his availability, and about, there's a couple guys out there that you might be able to bring in right away versus letting it breathe a little with some of the guys that you have here. He did talk about our job over the next several weeks is to pay close attention to everything that's out there and how we might be able to improve our team. He did refer, to the waiver wire and to other organizations. So yes, I think they're going to pay close attention. I think they have to. I'm not sure if it's actually going to end up happening or not, but 100%, if there's an option that drops in there and they can make the money work and it's somebody that can step in particular, Struds, like I want to see what the narrative is on Emberson through 5 exhibition games, how he's looking, how it's feeling after 4 or 5 exhibition games, just to see the way it seems to be going.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You need some time, right, to find out what it's all about. Gustav Forsling is probably the most recent that I can remember that turned into an unbelievable waiver wire pickup.
Crazy.
But when he was picked up, I don't know that anyone believed or thought he'd get to where he's at now. Generally speaking, and Shaugger, you can correct me if I'm wrong, at this time of year when there are waiver wires, you're going to get more of what you kind of have, right? Question marks or guys that are more suited to the 5-6. Not a lot of top 4 D-men drop into the waiver wire pool. Now, if they do, it's because they have a massive cap hit, right? And that's usually the limiting factor for a lot of teams. So expecting, I think, a top 4 defenseman to fall in your lap through the waiver wire is probably unlikely, unless, like I said, it's like Gustav Forsling, that maybe he works his way into it.
Yeah.
Okay, Calvin Bess with a good point here. What happens if they have a lot of injuries during the regular season? These games may mean a lot for some of those players to fill holes due to injuries. I think maybe the question is just, the Oilers were very healthy last year. Does it concern you? Like, is that luck? Is it that they have a great, team plan, or, are you concerned? Do you have big concerns about injuries for the team this year because of how well things seemed to go last year in that regard?
Left side on the blue line. They're an injury away from on that blue line in general, right? They were crazy healthy on the blue line last year. That's pretty rare. It's pretty unique. So chances are they are going to run into some injury issues. That's why guys need to come in and play well right now, Struds. I mean, you need to show them, Like a lot of them are developing a relationship with his coach for the first time too, right? For the first time, getting an opportunity, some of these guys. But bottom line, if and when an injury happens, Struds, what you did in preseason is not really going to matter. It's how's the guy been playing, right? You'll be playing regular season games by the time the Oilers are. And really, it's about starting strong when you get to the American League.
Yeah, you know what? I got to ask you, though, because why do you keep saying the left side of the D? Because I think they have more depth there than the right side.
Well, if the wrong left shot defenseman gets hurt, it's treacherous.
Well,
I mean, right side too, but
that's a disaster. If Bouchard gets hurt, that's a disaster. Because now it's some combination of Stetcher, Brown, and Emberson. Jeez, that are your right side D, and no disrespect intended to those guys at all. So I think on the left, at least there's like a spot everyone can move up, right? I think that. So I see them as 3 legit left side defensemen, 1 legit right side defenseman as of right now. We speak right now.
Yeah. No, yeah, fair point. I just think injuries on the blue line in general, they're so thin that it's going to be really problematic. I think if either, Darnell Nurse starting the year a little bit dinged up here, we'll see how it goes if he can hit full stride. But bottom line, to Zuby's original point, if there are injuries on the blue line, if this happens to be a year where for a month and a half you're missing 2 blue liners, which by the way, all happens to teams all the time, whoa, that gets thin fast in Edmonton.
Okay, Ro Nelson on the stream here. This is kind of going into a larger thought, but this was coming up when we were talking about analytics. How about the Oilers have a paradigm shift and actually play its young players like Dallas has instead of blocking them? That would help than more having to be mining for those hidden gems. I know, Shaugger, you've had your criticisms of the development system with the Oilers. That the top is turning over a little bit right now with the new GM and Jeff Jackson. Do you think that should be a place that they should be looking for improvement within the franchise?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have to. They what happened this summer cannot happen. You cannot lose 2 of the top prospects out of your organization. Just can't happen. And so, yes, the organization needs to look in the mirror. They need to figure out what the pathway is to professional hockey for their top young junior players and college players. Then they need to figure out once they're in pro hockey, what's the pathway that is clear and clearly defined for them so everybody understands the plan. And they have to make it so that a player's results make sense for his trajectory and where he goes. It needs to be a clean system, Struds, where there's lots of time, lots of energy put into these guys. And there are already processes being put in place that are significantly, more detailed, I think, than what was there before. Stan Bowman, I believe, and Jeff Jackson are on this big time. That's the sense I get.
I completely disagree with that text, actually, or that tweet. And this is why. If you don't mine for gems and you don't have draft picks, there are no young players that are able to move up and play for your team. So all hands on deck for finding gems, finding players that can come in, because that's step 1. And then I agree with everything you just said about step 2, Shaugger. But without step 1, step 2, you're just going to, you're going to have to keep signing on the free agent.
You got to walk and chew gum at the same time, though. And I know you know this, Struds. You need to be able to find gems in the draft. And then you also need to be exceptionally good at developing those gems because the internal structures you have on your team. But both are critical.
But I've been talking about draft and developing since before Brink Griffin thought you were eye candy. Like that is something I am adamant on. And no one else wants to talk about. But right now, the Oilers are in it. You're right. They lost 2 good young prospects. Yeah, they traded for a first rounder. They don't have a first rounder next year. They have Savoy in their lineup. Like, who are the next group coming in? They don't have a lot. And I know that's part of the winning. But look, guys, they haven't won a Stanley Cup. So we're not talking about a team that went all in and won a Stanley Cup. They went all in and they haven't won. So this is the challenge. So again, we can talk about what happened with the developing and all that. Drafting and then developing is number 1 priority. If I'm Stan and Jeff, I'm putting everything I got in there right now for that.
You draft as well as you want. But if you don't handle your players properly once they're in the organization,
without B, there's no way. So if you have crappy players in the minors, you don't have any of your stuff. You gotta have it isn't. It isn't that way. You can't take a guy that's in the minors who's just not going to be an NHLer and turn him into an NHLer. There's just some players that aren't going to be NHLers. You can't say.
Do you not think, Struds, that if you have an exceptionally good system set up within your organization to develop players, help them reach their maximum potential, that there's every bit as much a chance that you'll turn a C prospect into a B player than there is going out and finding a gem by having great drafting, which you have to have. My point is great development can help players, outkick maybe what their draft status says they should have been. I think it's pretty close to this. I think they're both incredibly important.
It's not at all. They are incredibly important, but you're skipping over. I can polish one of my dog's turds and put it on a ring. It's not a diamond, right? So you have to go out and you have to find. I can't turn a D prospect into an A prospect. I could probably turn a C into a B or a B and an A for sure. Yeah. But I've got to find the B and C prospects, and I got to be able to draft them. So if you're not getting draft picks and you're not finding them in college or through the junior free, there's nowhere to go. So it is step A. Step A is key. And I'm build out step B all you want, but someone's got to feed me, right? I got to get somebody into step B. And so,
but if you draft an A prospect and you don't develop properly, you turn him into a B minus real fast, or a C.
Okay. So
Pugliarvi was a hell of a prospect.
Yeah. And that was, okay, I want to revisit that, but that was a mess on both sides. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Shaugger. I'm talking about the draft and developing, but you've got to find, and you can call it whatever you want, but you can't polish a turd and put it on a ring, call it a diamond. I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
All right. I like it. I don't think we even disagreed on anything there. We were just saying things a different way.
You guys were just heated, yeah. Okay, a couple just quick actually, there's a comment and a question. We'll wrap up the poll, and we'll hand it off here. I'm going to say this name wrong, but Siran Corbally said, I bought Strudwick's old stick at the locker room sale for $60. It was a steal. What's your cut of that, Struddy?
I'm surprised he could lift it up, because those sticks are probably more than 10 years old. They're probably so heavy. It's like Excalibur. If you can get it out of the stone, you can walk out of the store with it.
Okay, shoot. And I lost the actual comment, but Rick Robitaille, who's been very, very active on the stream tonight, he was pushing his chips in, and he wants to know a prediction. Not are they winning it? Are the Oilers going back to the Stanley Cup final this year? He wants you guys to call this before. He's been making so many comments.
Exhibition.
It was the one question he actually asked, I think, of all of his comments.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would pick the Oilers to win the Cup this year, so I'm going to say yes. So yeah, early preseason prediction. There you go, Rick. Struddy, you with me in that boat?
I think that a good off season. I think that the loss of those two young players is got to be revisited. But yeah, I think that they're one of the top 5 teams in the league. So give yourself a chance, right? That's all you want. Give yourself a chance.
I don't do that very often, but Rick has been very active on the stream tonight. Okay. So I thought I'd
appreciate you, Rick.
I'd throw him a bone. Okay, and then we'll wrap up the poll here. Which bubble player do you think gets the first game with the big club this season? Lavoie still took it, 39%, 27% for Savoie, 22% for Noah Philp, and other came in at 10%. And we did have a couple of write-in votes for James Hamblin. Another one for Nathan Jameson said he thought Lane Peterson is the best option, right-handed center. And there was some of the names you guys mentioned as well, but those were a couple that came up. And Todd Gack also giving you a shout out, Shaugger, comparing you to Michael Jordan, calling this your flu game.
All right. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, powered by people. Struddy, we got to do our play of the day, my friend, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience and see how the team at Gallery Dental has your comfort and well-being as their top priorities. providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. What do we got,
guys? I'm going to go Sam O'Reilly's goal. I like how he got into that position to get it, but I can't. I'm sorry, I don't remember if it was Deneen or Carrick that made that pass up to him. I think it was. I want to say Deneen, but I might be wrong.
I have it in my notes.
Okay,
I have it in my notes here. Just let me check. Breakaway pass from Deneen.
Yeah, there you go. So Deneen made a nice stretch pass to him, but just getting into position, like that's getting a position to accept the pass and be able to accelerate from there. Like what I saw in this young player. I hadn't seen him play before, drafted, the Oilers traded to get in there. So I get it. And, I wonder if you could be something like Ryan O'Reilly. Probably no relation there.
It's early days, and the Oilers jumped up at the draft and grabbed him. One of the rare first rounders in the Oiler organization, Struds. Not a lot.
Not many.
Not a lot left.
There won't be one this year.
Chris R says beauty pod and root beer floats all around for everybody. Thanks for all your contributions on YouTube, Twitter. Thanks for joining us here on the live stream, or if you're just downloading us in podcast form. Really appreciate you coming along for the ride here on Got Your Back. Oilers home, split squad game, home and away tomorrow against the Calgary Flames. I think the plan right now is to drop a pod after. We got a couple things we got to arrange, but potential podcast tomorrow night. But we're back up and running here pretty much at full tilt. So look forward to lots of great shows in the weeks to come. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, to all of you, and of course to our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Thanks, Struds. Have a good night, pal. See you, Zuby.
Yeah, good one, boys. Good night.
Good night.